Good evening, it's Friday night. This is the Liz Bentley Show and it's the first one of 2021 and we're in, oh it's a bit high there isn't it? We're in lockdown of course and psychotherapist by day, comedian night, that's who I am, but it's difficult to be funny at the moment about anything. So I thought this year, until things get rosier, I'd do some serious sort of part lecture, part Liz Bentley isms on health and getting through this period. So today I just was thinking about sex. Partly because there was something in the BBC news about sex and there was a cartoon couple lying with their masks on and I thought, oh look, everyone's done that. They've done the kind of let's do a bit of kind of sex with masks on bit, you know. And everyone's done with porn, whether it's sort of alone or with your partner or whatever. So I decided to just give you some help and just some reassurance really on sex during lockdown. So first of all, I'm going to start off and think about the singletons at the moment. If you're single, I'm not, I'm married and although as we know, as a shielder, I shouldn't be sleeping with my husband. But I am married. But I thought I'd just talk a little bit about singletons if you are on your own and not to worry about masturbation at all on any level. Some of you may know or even see my show at the Freud Museum on solitary pleasures. That was their exhibition of 2018, I think. And I did a show on, what was it called? Sex. Something and men with white and grey beards, that kind of thing. And one of the books I researched for that show is this book. It's called Solitary Sex and I recommend it. It's by Thomas Lacour and it's Solitary Sex, A Cultural History of Masturbation. And it's quite a big, thick book, as you can see, so there's a lot to get through. So I just wanted to reassure you that, especially as women, because if women were single in the old days, of course, they were just always deemed as being prostitutes. But if you're single now, that's not the case. And there's been a lot of lockdown dogs, haven't there? And there's actually a picture in here, I can't find it. I should have come more prepared, but I haven't. There's a picture, it's an 18th century picture in here of a young woman on a chaise longue with reading some porn, I believe, with a dog licking her fanny. So nothing, maybe that suits you. But this book really does reassure us that it's really okay to masturbate, so don't worry if you're wanking off all the time. In the old days it was very difficult. If you look at these pictures of here, so the first man is a 16-year-old masturbator and the second picture is a 21-year-old masturbator, a 21-year-old abstainer. So I think if you can see the pictures there, so the first one is, look how old he looks because he's been masturbating a lot. And then the other one is obviously an abstainer. And the one below, he's a, can you see that? It's probably around the right. He's a 50-year-old masturbator and the other one is a 70-year-old masturbator. So the 50-year-old one is the one with the stick and the 70-year-old is the one with the stick too, but holding it as opposed to leaning on it. So there we go. But of course that was the old days and we're in the new days now, and I would suggest that one of the things to keep ourselves going would be to masturbate, to be honest with you. That's my advice for singletons. At the end of the book, I'll just read a little passage. There's quite a few pieces that I've noted down, but I like the end of the book. I've done quite a bit of research since I've read the book. And I just want to quote the end. Particularly, so it seems strange and disturbing that in our century the young Wittgenstein on the Eastern Front of the Great War was in moral agony because amidst the death and carnage he masturbated. So that was obviously in the trenches in the First World War. He was a philosopher. I've been looking him up actually. Wittgenstein, really interesting man and very good looking, I have to say. In fact, he's written a book on suicide that I've ordered because I want to do another piece on suicide quite soon. So just I'm going to quote the last bit of the book. Potentially I'm not very good at English. Autarkic, or autarkic, solitary sexual pleasure touches the inner lives of modern humanity in ways that we will not understand. But maybe this is the time to try and make sense of it. It remains poised between self-discovery and self-absorption, desire and excess, privacy and loneliness, innocence and guilt, as does no other sexuality in our era. So that's a little bit of a snippet for anyone who's single out there. For couples, some advice. As I say, we've done all the mask thing and everybody's watched as much porn that they can possibly bear. So one of the fantasies I thought would be quite a useful one to think about, because there's a lot of material in this if you're with somebody, and it's the one I particularly like, and it's the role play of Winston, that's John Hurt in 1984, and Julia. I mentioned them when I was doing my let me show you. This is the paperweight from, this is the exact one, not quite but almost exact. It was in one of the ones that didn't get smashed in the film of 1984. Here is the paperweight, symbol of hope. And the idea is one of you play, it doesn't matter if you're a couple, you're two men or two women or whatever, it doesn't matter. One of you plays Winston, one of you plays Julia, can be, as I say, whatever. And yes, the idea is that you pretend that you've been locked away. So maybe go into, if you've got two rooms in your house, go into one of the other rooms and pretend that you've been in prison, which is not that difficult at the moment. You know, for some time you've not been allowed to see each other. So for me, I could do the shielding bit, and that'd be quite fun as well. And then after a couple of days, you then maybe bump into each other as you're going to the toilet, maybe something like that, and then tell all your neighbours and friends that you're having a party and having lots of people around, but obviously you're not really, but you're just wanting to, you know, get excited for this particular event. And then once the police start arriving on your house and banging up on the door, that's when you get naked. If you've got a paperweight like this, put it on the mantelpiece, you know, somewhere in the room that you're making love in, and do a Julia and Winston. And then at that point there'll be police banging on the door, and yeah, I thought it would be really, really quite exciting. So I'm sorry, guys. You know, I'm not going to be doing. You know, it's going to be pretty serious stuff over the next, 3 months, pretty much. But I'd probably say the rest of our lives, to be perfectly honest with you. But this is only the beginning of a long series of shows around health and wealth and sex and love. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a happy weekend of lockdown and enjoy your sex.